I guess I'm John Lee, and this is what is today? Friday, February 11th. And I'm with the St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association, and we're here for the buy, sell here, haves and wants, haves and have-nots, whatever you need, whatever you want to talk about today. Here with Jim, we were just admiring his underwater photography there. So I will get back on, get back talking about some real estate here in just a minute. Good to see everybody. And feel free to turn your cameras on. We won't hold that against you. So, Jim, you have anything? We do have a meeting in person coming up here Tuesday, and we are going to have. Let's see.
Yes.
Do you?
Title company. I remember the title company is going to be here.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Let me see here. I'll find their information here.
Okay. Well, let's see. Look for Lloyd's email that he sent to. But
yeah, here we go. Yeah, we're going to have Amy Zeter and let's see here, Angela
Murrow, it looks like.
Merle, I believe is how you pronounce her name, from Old Republic Title. And they're going to talk about title insurance and anything else title related. So be sure to tune in either on Zoom or live if you can in person. This will be an in-person meeting at the Moolah Center over on Fifi. More information, of course, on our website, but you can feel free to join us either way. So. We got a few more people coming in. Good to see everybody. Anybody have anything that they're working on right now? Buy, sell? Anybody looking for anything? Anybody got anything for sale? There's a lot of buyers out there these days, it seems like. You know, a lot of people are saying it's still a buyer's market. Well, I don't know. I think it's a good seller's market too.
John?
Yes. Hi, Ann.
Hi, how are you? Yeah,
Good.
I'm looking to buy in several zip codes, and I will put this in the chat. 63031,
Okay.
63146, 63141, or 63043.
4-3. Okay. Looks like some Maryland Heights, some Creve Coeur, and some Florissant areas then is what you're looking for.
Yep, that's it, right?
Great. Well, if you don't mind, Ann, if you could put your contact info in there and maybe your zip codes again, that'd be great.
Sure, I will. I'll put the whole thing in. Thanks, appreciate it.
Excellent. All right, and what are you looking for in particular, Ann? Are you looking for single family homes, or what? 2 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 10 bedroom? What about? So you looking for a price range? You looking for fixer uppers? More specific you get, the better sellers you'll get.
Oh yeah, sure. 3 to 4 bedrooms. Yeah. And price range really doesn't matter, just in those areas, because they're, I guess, kind of standard in each section there. So yeah, just 3 to 4 bedrooms.
Okay. Are you looking for fixer uppers mainly? Or are you looking for turnkey or
both?
Both?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're pretty open, 3 or 4 bedrooms, you're pretty open on conditions then, it sounds like, and price range then.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Okay, yeah, if you could put that in the chat, that'd be great. Anybody else have anything that they're wanting to buy or sell?
Hey, John.
Yes.
Hi there. This is Laura Jemerson. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hello.
Out of town seller is selling a property in Jennings, 63136. Now, this property needs a lot of work and cleaning out. He just wants to get rid of it, but he's doing owner financing.
Okay.
3,000 down and $775 a month.
Okay. All right. Do you know, let's see. Do you know how many bedrooms or a little more details about it, Laura?
It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
3-bedroom, 1 bath. Okay. Is the house empty right now?
It is empty except for all the clutter.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you get some bonuses with the home, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Never know what kind of treasure you might find in there.
Yeah.
Do you have a total price on that, Laura?
It's $79,900.
$79,900. And do you have an address or anything you would like to share, or any kind of contact information, I should say?
Yeah, I could put it in the chat if you want, but
Yeah.
it's in Jennings, about a block north of West Florissant, near Emerson Electric. They still call it that.
Okay.
And it's on Ellison, 9031 Ellison.
9031 Ellison. Okay.
It's a frame house.
Okay. Frame house. And that would be 63136. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. 136. All right. Great. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, sorry.
So if any kind of contact information you'd like to put in there, whether that's for yourself or for the seller, would be great.
All right, will do.
Mhm. Great. Okay, and there's Ann's information there. All right, there's one for sale and one and some that people want to buy in there. So let's see, actually, Tammy's got one actually started to create a solid business foundation with real estate investing and getting LLC. Do you offer any local attorney referrals to assist with this? Well, I'd say the best place to start is with Kathy Davis's office. Even though they're eviction attorneys, she could probably get you in the right direction. That's what I would recommend, since she's one of our main featured guests here. She's here on the first Friday of the month, but I would contact their office, Tammy. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say about that?
Roger's good at that too, but I agree that Kathy is more real estate oriented. I did my LLC through Roger Wallach, but I would say, yeah, Kathy supports us. So go to Kathy, and if something she isn't, for whatever reason, she'll recommend another attorney if she feels that's best for the person. So yeah, go with Kathy.
All right, and let's see. All right, anybody else got anything they want to buy, sell, they're working on, need any help with anything? This is a good place to get do some networking and get some referrals for contractors too. Or is everybody just? Yes.
This is James. I have something to share.
Sure, James.
So I'm selling one of my properties, and currently has a tenant living there, and he's a good tenant, and then the contract, the lease is not up until summer next year. But I'm on the process of selling it, and I think I already got a buyer, and we're working on the paperwork. So what's the process, or is it even possible to break the lease with a tenant? He does want us to find a place for him to move to. Otherwise, he says he's not willing to move. So what are my options?
Well, you probably bind by your lease. If you have a mutual agreement, you could probably do something like that. But normally, I know I'm not an attorney, but when I bought houses and sold them with tenants in place, it usually goes by the lease, and that's a lot of times the title company will want that too.
If you really want to get him out of there, you might have to pay him some money.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that. It's just he's not willing to move if I don't have a equivalent place for him to move to.
Then I think, as John says, the lease is what it is. The lease follows the property and the tenant, I believe. And like John says, I'm not an attorney either, but I think the new owner has to abide by the current lease.
Mhm.
I'll weigh in on that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure, Dan.
This
Go,
is Dan.
Dan.
Yeah, you're definitely bound by the lease because when you lease a property, you give up that possession, use, and occupancy. It's one of the bundle of rights that comes with real estate. So you've given that up to your tenant. If your lease does not have a termination provision in there, that's why all my leases are. I do my leases for a year or two, but I have a provision in there where it's basically like a month-to-month lease. I can give them notice and terminate. So if you don't have any termination provision in your lease, you're going to have to, abide by the lease or try to negotiate with the tenant. And if I'm assuming the new buyer does not want it with a tenant in it.
No, they want to.
Yeah, they're tough.
Yeah,
Tough to sell a lot of times with the tenant. But I would go back to the tenant and say, what's it going to take? He's going to have to move at some point next year anyway, because the new buyer, if you do get it sold, maybe 2 months, or maybe you help him find a place, and then maybe you pay him 2 months, or tell him, I would ask him, you could offer something, say, what if I paid you 2 months rent or lease, 2 months of your amount of your lease, and could you move out in 2 weeks? And if he says no, then say, well, what could you do? So you might throw out an offer, but then don't renegotiate it. Just ask him what he's willing to do.
Mhm.
Assuming he hasn't violated any other provisions of his lease, which might give grounds for termination of the lease. It's always better to work it out amicably if you can. But if he has violated the lease in some way, I don't know how your lease reads, but you may be able to terminate the lease. But then you've got the whole potential that you might have to evict if he doesn't move voluntarily, even if he was in violation and you terminated and he doesn't want to move. So again, the honey approach is probably the best to try to go and see what he's willing to do. And
Okay.
is there a reason you're looking to get out of it? Does the new buyer hold off?
No, it's a condos association. It's keep adding the assessment fee. It's static.
Yeah.
Yep. But thanks, Dan. That's I think I'll try to work it out with the tenant.
Mhm.
And on a flip side of that, maybe you want to have a provision in your next lease that with a new tenant, any other tenant that gives you some rights. Maybe it's 3 months. Maybe it's you pay them 3 months, you can terminate the lease, you give them 90 days notice, or you give them 60 days notice. They have to agree to it. My lease says either of us can give the other party notice and get out. So it's fair. It's very fair. Because I know in a residential lease, if a person's got to move, it doesn't matter if they got a 5-year lease, they're moving.
Mhm.
And you're going to wind up in court if you're trying to enforce the lease, going to pay the rest of it. So in a residential lease, I like really month-to-month leases. I mean, I'll sign them for a term, so their rental rate's not going to go up. But I want the ability to tell them to leave and give them notice and be nice about it. But I also want them the ability to tell me with things, hey, I've got to leave. And there's no, even though my tenants kind of think they have a year lease, it says, because it says it runs from January 1st to December 31st, or whatever our term is.
Mm-hmm.
But it says later, this is a month-to-month contract. Either party may terminate under the following provisions, giving so much notice. And so we detail that out so that if I ever wanted to sell or got in a bind, or I got in a situation with a condo association and I want it out, it's already built in. So.
That's a great strategy. Thank you.
Mhm. Great information, Dan. Thank you.
No problem.
Mhm.
That's why my leases, I guess all of our leases, they change over the years. We find stuff we should have had in them.
Yes. A lot of it's trial and error, but if you know this going into it, you can save yourself probably years of the trial and error like you've done. And I know I've done a couple of them too. So, when are you going to do your trust class again, Dan?
Oh, thanks for the reminder. I got to get on that and get it scheduled. So I got on this morning and I'm out. I've got a rehab going right now in Spanish Lake. And on that note, I'll ask, has anyone had any of the countertops, the Formica countertops, where they put the epoxy, the paint on them? Do they have a contractor they like that does that? I've got one guy that does a good job, but I want to get a competitive quote. They put up like a textured, they look really good. I mean, if you've got a kind of a rehab where you don't want to, countertops are in good shape, they're just dated. You don't want to go in with marble or some granite or something like that. They put that the epoxy paint, I think it's a 2-part paint on it.
Well, does anybody have any experience with that or have anybody they like? I personally don't, but somebody probably does. Anyone? Well, maybe you can tell us how that works out, Dan.
I will. You know what? I'll take some
Yeah.
before and after pictures for you guys for next time.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great if you could share that. We'd appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. Okay. Okay, anybody else have anything they're working on, buying and selling, or anything else besides countertops, or maybe other parts of the kitchen or anything like that? Is everybody in great shape? Nobody needs anything? A lot of quiet spectators today.
I'll jump in real quick. I've got a rehab starting here in the next couple of weeks, and I've got a cracked floor joist that I'm kind of a small contractor, just for context. So I was going to do that myself and just sister one joist in there, but I think it might be a bit more than that. I might need to do 4 or 5 joists. So I think I'm at the point where it's probably worth talking to somebody who knows more than I do. Has anybody ever had any experience with that? Anybody they like? Or just a good, knowledgeable, even general contractor that could help me out?
Okay. Anybody got any experience with that? The only thing I have on the floors is when I had to have a structural engineer come in because of termites, but that goes back a long time ago. And I don't know, does anybody know anything about floor joists? Well, maybe that's something you'll need to fill us in on too, Scott, in a couple of weeks with your experience.
Yeah, I may have to. Hopefully I find somebody good. I just figure, you know what, I need another opinion on this. So yeah, I'll let you guys know what I come up with.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, I don't have any expertise on that at all. If anybody does, feel free to unmute yourself and tell Scott about it and us.
Yeah, Scott, I could probably help out on that. And I've got a carpenter who just retired and is looking for work. I don't know where your property's at, but that's probably get a guy who really knows what he's doing out there, because he can measure the span and see what it's like. Sometimes you can just replace the joist and then sometimes cistern, it's just fine. So the problem is I don't have any way to enter it. I'm in my car, my information. So my phone number, if you want to call me, and I'll give you his number when I'm not driving or not in the car. I'm actually in the driveway, but 314-568-0805. I'm gonna send you somebody that could probably help you out.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. And Dan, you and I actually spoke on the phone a couple of months ago. So I've got your number. I'll reach out to you. I'll text you right now, and
Perfect.
we can just catch up whenever it's convenient for you.
Perfect.
I'm currently under a sink right now, so we'll catch up when we're both in a good place to do so. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay, Dan, your number is 314-568-0805.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the chat if that's okay, and then he'll have.
No, yes, perfect. Perfect. You know, if anybody ever runs into a deal that won't close for some reason, or has got a screwy title problem, give me a call. I mean, it seems like I always get involved with some really interesting situations. So, in fact, sometimes I'll get a clean property I buy and sell or buy and rent. And my buddies will all tell me, Dan, I don't think that's a deal for you. There's not enough liens on title. There's not enough defects on title, or you don't need to foreclose anybody off. So anyway, if someone ever runs into that, I'd love to talk to you about it and see if we can still figure it out and make it work. So.
Also, with Scott, I also have a contact of a general contractor that has done a lot of repairing of joist and sistering in, and I can leave my number on here as well and get you in contact with him. We've both worked together on several rehabs, and we've had actually sister in joists where plumbers have were plumbing a island sink and cut the joist completely in half. Now, I don't know how you do that and not know that you're cutting through a joist, but you know, it was kind of crazy. But anyway, I'll leave my contact information here as well and see if there's anything that him or I could help you out with that.
Thanks, Tammy. Appreciate it. The property is in South City, just for context there. Thanks.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Tammy. You had something else you put in the chat?
Yeah, I was just talking or just asking, just because, I mean, I've been doing rehab for a out-of-town investor that buys properties in St. Louis market on tax liens. And so I'm trying to actually just, I've been educating myself, going to a lot of meetings, and I'm ready to, like I said, create my own LLC and then start investing in properties, rentals, and fix and flips. Kind of get on the other side of me actually doing the rehab, but and so I'm trying to develop a team of contacts as well along the way, and contractors and agents. I mean, we have one particular agent that sells all of our properties for this investor, and she is great. I mean, wonderful. And she's open to teaming with me because she knows that the work that I've done and do is very meticulous, and I'm always, I mean, right on the money, and but yet I'm trying to look for other contractors so I can kind of get out of the actual physical aspect of actually doing the rehab myself at some point.
Excellent. Thank you, Tammy. Did you want to put any kind of contact info for any way to get? Oh, you got it right there. Okay, great. There's Tammy's phone number if anybody wants to jot that down. Looking to partner. This is a good place to do it and a good way to do it right here. Okay. Anybody else have anything they're working on or need help with or something they got available? Any contractors here that want to offer anything to our group here? They're probably all out working right now. I know they're getting harder to find. If you're a specialist anyway.
I have a question.
Sure.
We have a rehab that we're working on right now, working with just one contractor, but any advice? We're kind of running into issues with this contractor, mainly with timelines. He was, supposed to have things done a long time ago, and he's not even halfway done with everything. And it's all one thing after another, and not too sure like what, and it's our first rehab too. So we're not too sure like what we can do to kind of, he's been paid for several projects that he keeps saying that he's going to get them done, but this week is really his week to prove he's going to get some items completed, but I'm not sure like what is it that we can actually do to get the ball rolling with him.
Yeah, that's a kind of a common problem, I think, with some people. Best thing that I know of is just not to pay him everything until he's done. I mean, that's the way I've dealt with it. Did you pay him all the money so far?
No, we've just been paying him as he goes, but the last payment that was made to him, the repairs were supposed to be done a while ago. Like he was supposed to be done with the home by March, and he's not even halfway done at this point.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Deadlines are the best way to do it, but just really holding back the payments is how I've dealt with it. Anybody else have any suggestions on that? The way they've dealt
I agree
with
with. Yeah, I agree with John. I'm sorry if I cut somebody off. Don't give them any money up front unless it's just for materials. A lot of times I'll just I may pay for the materials at the supplier. If a contractor needs advance for labor, you're going to have a challenge getting paid down the road, because most contractors don't have to have an advance for labor. Now I might do it I might give someone an advance that I've worked with a lot of times before, but normally I don't. And I also have liquidated damages in your contract if they don't get it done on a time frame, and it costs them so much a day for not getting it done. That's how all the big construction projects are. So no reason you shouldn't put it in your contract. So if a guy tells me it's going to take me 2 weeks to get it done, I say, great. How about after 3 weeks? It's going to cost you $250 a day or $500 a day, or depending upon the size of the project, pick a number that matches that so that it starts hurting for them not to get it done.
Okay.
I agree with Dan on that one as well. That's how you can weed out a lot of your what do you call side kickers or whatever that are just in it till they got money in their pocket, and then you don't see them until they need another dollar or whatnot. But yeah, when they start feeling it, then they either will bail totally, and then that's kind of good because then you can find somebody else that is obviously more reliable, or they will get to work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, in the meantime, call them every day. I mean, be nice. Be nice.
Yeah.
I give people an out if they haven't called me back. Because I'm not trying to create an adversarial relationship, even if I'm already really aggravated. I say, John, I'm not sure if you got my call. I try to call him a couple of times. Not sure if you got my voicemail or not, but I really got to hear from you and I try to make it some third party. It's not me, the city's, if you can, depending upon the situation, I do need to hear from you so we can move forward. So, I'll drive by their house if I know where they live, or if they got another job. That's sometimes the problem. They're juggling 2 or 3 jobs. So
yeah, that's what we ran into. We found out that he was doing another job but he didn't tell us he was working on another house at the time. We've worked with him before with our personal home, so we know that he's a good guy and he works really hard and does really good work, but we didn't realize he was working on a property prior to us getting this house. And then it turned out but then he disappeared for a couple of weeks. Then he said he had COVID, and it's just been one thing after another.
I'd add, if you like the guy, if you like the guy,
yeah,
that, he does good work, then, maybe the next time if you want to hire him, instead of hiring him for these bigger projects, know that maybe he's just like a one-day kind of guy where he's in, he's out, he's paid, and he's probably less of a businessman and more of just, churn and burn and get paid and go on to the next one. And he could be really good at that, you know. That way you're not out, you know, for weeks on a long-term project and nothing can move ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of where we are at this point.
And I'm sure you've done this already, but if you haven't, don't forget the lien waivers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you, guys.
A good point too that Scott just brought up about maybe he's a guy for the day, because I know in the past, many years ago, before I knew how to vet my contractors a little better, some of them are there till they get paid, and then you don't see them for a week because they're there for the beer money and for the fishing money. And we joke about that, but it's not funny because they do get other side jobs going. So you do have to make that it has to be a priority. Or just just hire them accordingly. How they work. So some really good points there. The lien waiver too. Yeah, you can't, you don't want to forget that. All right, some good information. Anybody else have anything they would like to buy, sell, they need help with today?
All right, I'm gonna jump back in on the lien waiver issue.
Mhm.
We generally get a lien waiver from the contractors. That's what most of us do. But some of the biggest issues is, any of the suppliers that they bought from can technically file a lien on your property. So that's another reason for sometimes with these smaller contractors who I don't know if I'm going to get, a lien on if they're buying stuff from Cardinal Supply or whatever, depending on the project. If they don't pay their suppliers, technically, like when we were doing big construction projects, I'm a former electrical contractor. We had to bring in lien waivers from everybody we bought materials from. So just keep that in mind. If it's a big project, if it's something small, you probably don't have to worry about it. But if you get into really big project where someone, a struggling builder is buying materials, maybe on an account which they barely have at a supplier, and they get in trouble, and you pay them, and then even though they give you a lien waiver, the supplier can technically come back and file a lien. So just keep that in mind. Might be another reason to pay for materials directly, and then the materials are paid for. Of course, only when they're on site, or being delivered to the site.
Thank you, Dan. That's very invaluable information right there. Very valuable, I should say. Okay, yeah, Raquel was asking about that. I think you just explained the lien waiver very well. Okay, anybody else got anything they'd like to share today?
Yeah, John, I put it in the chat, but just for what it's worth, that's what FWIW means for people who don't know. If you want any of these numbers or any of this information that goes in the chat, you need to copy it down right away, because I think only one time was I able to copy it to an email to myself, but most of the time that stuff, it doesn't show up on your YouTube videos. So if you want somebody's number or that other information that they put in the chat, you need to write it down immediately, or you won't be able to get it unless you call up somebody else.
Thank you, Bruce. That's a great point, because we purposely do not put it like on YouTube or anywhere else, because the information is shared here and it's private. It's just like going to a meeting live where we exchange business cards. We're not going to put your business card up on the big screen for everybody to write the stuff down. So that's a great point. What does FWIW stand for, Bruce?
For what it's worth.
Okay, I didn't see that one before. Okay, thank you. But that's a great point. Yeah. So yeah, be sure to jot them down. If you ever need anything, you can always get back in touch with us. But that's this is where you're going to get your information right here from the people directly. So that's very much on purpose how we do this.
I kind of have a different kind of situation. Actually, I don't, but I have a young nephew that he lost his father in December of last year, and has a property that he has a mortgage on, and is currently no one is living in it, but kind of wanting some advice, I guess, on how he has contacted a probate attorney because no, it wasn't left to anyone. There wasn't a will or anything of that nature. And but if there's a mortgage on a property, and either he or someone is, or member of the family is wanting to obtain that property, obviously would have to go through probate. And then the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the mortgage would have to be paid in full before it could be transferred into someone else's name, if even at that point. But just not sure as if there's any advice on how to kind of help them out with that.
Tammy, I could probably help you on that. The devil's in the details of that, but it may or may not need probate, depending upon when it's sold. And properties don't necessarily need to be, the loans, mortgages don't necessarily need to be paid off in order to be transferred to someone else. But there's some moving parts to that. So did you say that he died in December of 21?
Yes.
So in Missouri, this is the short version, and if you want to call me offline, I can help you more. The short version is in Missouri. The lender, number one, is cannot foreclose for 6 months, even if the payments are not being made. There's a moratorium on any foreclosure. If the payments are being made, there'd be probably no reason for them to foreclose, at least not in the short term anyway. After a year, and now maybe probate needs to be open for other reason. If the property is the only thing in the probate court, after a year, Missouri has a provision where the property can be transferred by the heirs, which would be the heirs at law, assuming there's no will. So, it'd be the down descendants of the person. There's a little paperwork involved, and it has to be an affidavit of heirs prepared, but I've been involved in lots of these. So, I guess the devil's in the details as to who wants to buy it, what the time frame is, and then. But if you want to talk to me offline about it, I can maybe give you some guidance in that direction. So, and title company can do a transfer after a year if those things are met without going through probate, which is. But there's some cost involved to that, some time involved in that. But like I said, but there might be other reasons that probate needs to be open to take care of a bank account or some other title property that, but anyway.
Okay, Dan, I appreciate that very much, and I will reach out to you for sure, because like I said, it's just it's my 18-year-old nephew, and we're both kind of just naive to this whole situation. But yeah, it is just a property that's that if it did go to probate, that would be the only reason, I guess. But if we could prevent that and kind of go and figure out which is the best scenario or best route to take with the property, I mean, I would appreciate that very much.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else got anything they'd like to share? I agree with you 100% too, Dan. If you can avoid probate, I would do it. That can be a time-consuming, expensive feat in itself. So anybody else got anything today? We have a lot of good nuggets here today. definitely worth watching the replay if you didn't have a chance, or if you joined us later, didn't have a chance to write everything down.
Well, if someone knows a place to rent, 2-bedroom with a garage, around 50, around or below 1,500, that would be great. In somewhere near Washoe, that would be better.
Is this for your current tenant, James?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Well, John, since a lot of people joined since the meeting started, you might want to repeat Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday night, we have a in-person meeting. Let's see, that would be on the 15th, Tuesday night at the Moolah. Doors open at 6:30, and we're going to have, let's see here, we're going to have Amy Zeter and Angela. Let's see, was it Merle? I don't know.
Merle, I
name.
think.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I apologize if I'm butchering their names here. From Old Republic Title Company, and they're going to highlight all the really the details of what we need as being investors, what we need to be aware of for the title. I'm sure they'll go over the costs and some other things like that, but you do want to tune in if you can on Zoom, if you can't be there in person, but definitely try to be there in person, because we have our new facility is great. And Jim, you'll probably have your place set up in the back.
Not Tuesday. I have a conflict, and I apologize, but I will not be at the meeting on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I will not have books for sale, tapes for sale at the back of the room like I usually do.
Oh, okay.
But so I'm gonna have to pass. But yeah, but meeting in March, hopefully we'll be able to do that again with the sale of the books and tapes. But yeah, this Tuesday I've got a conflict that came up that I it is what it is. So I'm gonna have to pass.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna miss you, Jim, but we understand.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, but everybody that can make it, I'd recommend you did. You won't be sorry. The new place is great out there. It's easy parking. I would suggest probably parking on the lower level. You can park on the main level and take the elevator down, but some of us insiders, we sneak around the back and walk right in the door. So
yeah.
But either way, it's a real nice place. Got lots of room. It really is worth coming out and seeing it if you haven't been there yet. And for the rest of everybody else, it is offered. We are going to have it again on Zoom. We're going to broadcast the live event. It's kind of a hybrid meeting right now is what we've been doing. Replays are available in the members section on the website. Takes them a little while to get up. I try to get the transitions down as soon as I can, but sometimes it takes a little while by the time they go through the webmaster and everything. So if you can, attend live, either virtually or in person. Anybody else have anything today? A lot of good things shared today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Right. Well, how much for somebody's asking? Raquel wants to know how much for a painting job per square foot. I don't know. Does anybody have any experience with painters? Any recent experience they'd like to share with Raquel there? I know I've done a lot of my own painting just because I couldn't get anybody timely in the past. I haven't done that in a while, but anybody have any recent experience with painters? No. Just have to check around. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you right now on painters.
I usually budget $1.50 a square foot, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked back at my numbers and saw if that was a good number, but that was been my number for a while, $1.50 a square foot. So, I mean, it all depends. You need ceilings done, how much wall prep needs to be done, so, your mileage may vary.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with Dan on that. And it's the prep work, or if any work needs to be done prior to the painting, what you're going over as far as if it's a darker color or not. And then that's my general rule, $1.50, $1.75, something to that nature.
I've also been told by a general contractor that he starts at $3 a square foot. So that's a bit high in my opinion, starting especially.
Look for or what to expect, I guess, and see if people's in line. So, but as far as, here Judy has, she used Metropolitan Drywall Service. It says they painted houses for a couple years ago. Okay. So you may want to try to look them up. Metropolitan Drywall, I guess, is the name of the company here, service. Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Or Judy, did you want to say something? All right. Anybody else have anything they would like to share today? All right, well, a lot of good information. I appreciate everybody tuning in and sharing. I guess we'll ask, here we go. Judy says Metropolitan Drywall Services and Painting. There you go. Do you have any kind of contact information on there, Judy? Or I'm sure you could probably Google them or look them up that way too. Jeff Mettler, Mettler, looks like the contact information. All right. Metter, not Mettler, Metter, Metter. Okay. Jeff Metter, Metropolitan Drywall Services and Painting. Okay, well, that'll narrow it down a little bit. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? Are we ready? Are we ready for lunch, or Jim ready to get back in the ocean?
Probably not going back in the ocean till end of April. That's a tentative plan to go down to Cozumel, Mexico, end of April.
It'll be nice and warm.
That's where that picture was taken a few years ago.
Excellent.
So it's either ocean or air for you, Jim, huh?
Basically, yeah.
He's not a surface animal anymore. All right. Well, anybody else have anything you want to share? Good time to do it while we're here. Or else I'll say going once, going twice, and 3 times we'll just say goodbye, I guess. So be sure to watch your inbox for more stuff. You can always check the website, STLREIA.com. For any current information. Get a hold of us anytime or tune in every Friday and we will be here. Otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, except for Jim this time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you all. Appreciate everybody being here.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. See ya.
All right. Bye now.